Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane. Featuring today a 1 vs 1 on Angoville. In the fields of Angoville, the Axis and the Allies will be clashing. It shall be PlzWhizz, which certainly sounds a bit silly. Fighting for the Americans nonetheless, fighting for the 4th Infantry Division. In their fight against the Third Reich, they shall be facing Airisback, so he is back again, fighting for the Panzerlehr, the elite German Panzer Division in the West. In fact, the most elite Panzer Division. Even more elite than some of the SS divisions, although different sort of elite, whereas the SS was sort of elite in that they had different training and more men in general, though, I mean, the Panzerlehr had better equipment overall, more equipment. Of course, they were more experienced overall as well. So, I mean, there's some rather subtle differences right there. But we are seeing the engineers sort of crossing out there, and he's already going for the high munitions point right there in the east. Whereas, as you might have noticing, Airisback is rather focusing heavily on the west, and we are seeing the MG42 out with the bike following. Again, something some higher ranking players do. Again, though, something also you should be a bit careful about, unless you somehow walk that MG42 right into a rifleman's squad and are quickly forced to retreat it. Which is also usually why you send in a PlzGrenadier squad first. But that is a matter of personal taste. In this case, he's just setting up to cover the fuel point, probably while some pioneers then secure it initially. And there we go, the bike is out, roaming the roads, the countryside. While the Americans are sort of following up on these much more heavily riflemen, securing the strategic points, while the engineers are focusing on the higher value points. I mean, of course, one thing to note is that riflemen do take points faster compared to, say, engineers, pioneers. They have a sort of 1.5 capturing speed. These have only 1. I mean, those are some differences, and that also means initially on, American riflemen can actually pretty quickly seize larger parts of the map. PlzGrenadiers gain a slight bonus once you reach the skirmish phase, but still that's a bit of a delayed thing. Still some minor differences. Also, Grenadiers, Stormtroopers and such actually also have the same bonus, but again, they're much more later to actually arrive on the field than the Riflemen. MG42 holding up there, and there we go, Rifleman running straight into it. Suffering from heavy machine gun fire from both the MG and the bike. And I do believe we are hearing some pioneers coming under fire up here north, trying to secure that fuel pump, but already here, PlzWhizz of the 4th Infantry has already secured a large part of the map. There we go, quickly sending those pioneers running back home with the PlzGrenadiers and bike joining up. This is actually going to be quite a nice combination. The MG of the bike will be quite handy when supporting the PlzGrenadiers against the riflemen. So there we go, bike moving in fact charging in, might be even able to push them around a bit. Not quite succeeding, but there we go, doing quite a bit of nice damage, and there we go, PlzGrenadiers joining in. Bike, they're already heavily damaged, and there we go. PlzWhizz quickly retreats his rifle, not fancying losing them. And this fight against the father, and this bike is going to need some repairs very swiftly. MG42 still remaining here. Nothing to support or cover the flanks. This could easily end up badly if someone was to say sneak up here and hit the flank there, or up here and hit there. So in that case, Airisback does need to be a bit cautious. Rifleman taking up position right there and going to be fired down on the PlzGrenadiers. Quickly forcing the way, and of course quickly stalling any advances right down the right hand side, which is rather definitely why this building can also be a bit nasty like this one. In general, there are these two very nasty buildings if the opponent ever gets them, depending of course who you are. Bike charges in, rifle getting a bit caught out in the open, trying to be kept away from the house. In fact, bike does suffer a bit of damage. We are seeing one rifleman drop down and going in for the cutoff point. Minesweepers just in case. Airisback had laid down mines, but so far Airisback has not laid down a single mine. Though we are quickly seeing, of course, the flank, but in this case now they are forced to cover the flank, and the MG42 quickly responds. Bike moves in, but the point is cut off. Airisback is... we are seeing grenades! Pretty swift and early grenades, and there we go, the MG42 is getting cleared out as well. The entire left flank of the Panzerlehr's forces has utterly collapsed.
They're losing territory.
This is what some would describe as a calamity, as that is definitely not good, as it basically means that Airisback has very little territory left. He does have 2 MG42s, 2 PlzGrenadiers and a bike, and of course the fact that he now knows his opponent has a grenade of course means He's not going to be getting armor cars right away, so he might buy himself some more time. And of course, could perhaps get another unit to take on the Yankees. Of course, he still will need to recapture as much as possible. And of course, PlzWhizz is doing his best to sort of take away as much territory away from the Wehrmacht while he still controls the cutoff. So definitely a bit of tension going on right there. Rifle now being forced away. There we go. Fox Grants another MG42 moving up to push up here in the west and probably secure the strategic point again. Would have been nice if PlzWhizz had been able to lay down some mines which made the advance of Airisback when he sort of tried to get back much more painful, particularly since he doesn't have minesweepers. Flamethrower pioneers, Volksguns moving in, catching a few rifles here, burning them, turning them to a crisp. But looks like the German infantry is getting flanked themselves by additional riflemen, rather meaning his eastern avengers are quickly cut off. Bit of a hiccup there. Full rifleman squads are up, I believe. Yes, indeed. And grenades are... Oh, MG42 getting pushed away. Could face the pineapple grenade. Bike opening up on the riflemen. Volksguns also joining in. Pioneers. A lot of firepower. There we go. PlzWhizz rather realizes in this case he just needs to get out of there instead of losing too many men. I mean, this is rather, again, valuable skills to sort of figure out, when to fight and when to, get the bloody hell out of there. In this case, he's actually gone for Browning automatic rifles. I mean, of course, he's definitely going to be getting an armor cast right away. In this case, we are seeing that Airisback has rather, figured out what's going on and is getting snipers to deal with this. Then we're going to increase the attrition on the Americans. These rifles definitely need to get out of there. There we go. Oh... dear, he might be losing an entire... Yes, indeed, squad down and a BAR left behind for Airisback to secure. Come on. Pick it up. Anyways, the Browning automatic rifle, a World War I weapon. It was essentially what was considered a battle rifle. Essentially a very large automatic sort of weapon firing rifle round to sort of a bit like LMG, but also something that was meant to sort of, support during a walking advance. But we rather found out that was actually a pretty bad concept, I believe. Still, it was also used, I believe, by the Polish, if I'm not mistaken. Bike down, though. And it was sort of one of their primary light machine guns besides the 30 caliber Browning, a light variant. They also had a heavier variant with water cooling. And there we go, rifle advancing right into the MG42. Bike, of course, down. Another sniper on the way. Looks like Airisback is really hoping to drain the life out of the Americans to sort of really do some nasty attrition towards him. And of course, with the BAR, they are slightly more heavily equipped. Of course, not quite as heavily equipped as the Americans are with grenades and, of course, numerous BARs. We'll have to see how this Wehrmacht advance goes. No response from the Americans. He's probably a bit more cautious. Again, mines could be an advantage. Would have, again, delayed the advance of the Germans. Trier centers up. That's definitely going to be helpful. And a fresh rifleman squad out. So again, he's going to be delaying himself, from getting any vehicles, which again could actually at this stage catch Airisback rather heavily off his guard, because again, he's not going to be expecting it. I think he might be laying down some mines. Yes, he might even be, somewhat expecting an armored car rush, which is not bad, but even then, it would still be someone undefended. Rifle moving in. Oh, Pioneers cut down. They're not fully. Mine cans, well, not finished. Volksguns getting run off. There's only a few snipers. If the riflemen do manage to catch them, they could do a bit of damage. Sharpshooter, though, looks like they will be making an escape into the base, which could not end well for the Americans, since they're going to get drained then with these two snipers. And there we go, opening up. Riflemen run off. Again, rather heavy rifleman presence. I mean, already 5 squads, although 1 is lost. Browning automatics, grenades. And there we go. Volksguns are taking minor losses. They are going to be run off. Not really in a condition to fight. And we are seeing the Kriegbergs now going up for Airisback. And could we be seeing additional rifle or sticky bombs right here? A jeep. He's going to try and hunt down the snipers, or at least keep them at bay a bit. That could work. More riflemen victims, the German snipers. Volksguns with the Browning automatics moving in. Krieg barracks almost up. Mines going down. Lovely, lovely. No, nothing here though. Shame that. Still, Americans are holding most of the victory points, although the Germans are swiftly advancing in under the cover of the snipers. Additional force guns moving in. Looks like the MGs are just holding the western flank, leaving all the maneuver elements to deal with the east. Let's go look at PlzWhizz. Keep moving in. And Panzerfaust. Oh, that was a dud. Get a new one. There we go. And there we go. Jeep is down. That was a bit unfortunate. Rifleman moving in since the sniper's running, and could even be a bit of a problem for those Volksgrenadiers. Minesweeper engineers. PlzWhizz is not. Oh yeah, he's moving about too much, and now of course standing right and still right in front of the Volksgrenadiers, although the Volksgrenadiers are up close. And there we go, quickly dropped with some serious automatic fire, already down to 2 men. They will need to get out of there. Although some of the riflemen also definitely dying. A medic station would at this stage, but I mean, 5 rifleman squads already paid for a medic station really would pay off as well to help with the attrition a bit. I mean, he is going to be producing a lot of wounded casualties and not necessarily just the dead ones. I mean, just notice here that in fact, so for the German, in fact, as well, he could also benefit from a medic bunker, but again, I mean, unless, I mean, they're, not running around like that, squirming in pain, they are, in a sense, still alive. Casualties, but casualty doesn't necessarily mean dead. It's just sort of a more thing to sort of say, who's out of combat, who's still in it. It doesn't really so much bother with if they're actually alive. Fun fact. And we are seeing some veterancy up for the support units, probably going to help with a bit of first aid, I believe, for the snipers. And we'll be seeing some grenadiers. None as of yet. And that, wait, never mind, that's the Grenadiers. We are seeing another American push right up here. Volksgrenadiers, Pioneers with flamethrower, snipers are moving in. Mine goes, oh my goodness, 4-man down already. And the rifleman here also being exposed to quite a bit of fire. In fact, they're moving out into the open, trying to get off a grenade.
Our forces are taking casualties.
Yeah, again, he does seem to be a bit incautious. Should be a bit more careful, although he did get 3 Volksgrenadiers. Again, he suffered 2 heavy losses and again has lost another rifleman squad. Again, medic station would help him a bit, I think, in those cases when he's, generally the chaps will suffer a lot of losses. Volksgrenadiers quickly finding themselves under fire by Pioneers and Riflemen, and veterans won from some of these Riflemen. Snipers moving in. And we are seeing a weapon support, and he's going to get a sniper of his own. Ton of munitions being floated, my goodness. No observation posts. But again, he's actually holding 3 + 16 munitions. That would explain it. And that might actually be something that Airisback would actually want to rectify before, PlzWhizz gains too much munitions. I mean, he could either go airborne or infantry quite successfully. I mean, he actually has the resources now for a bombing run. If there was actually anything that needed bombing. But strafing runs, recon runs, I mean, he could really do a number on Airisback and the Panzerlehr. Not a lot of divisions that really have that sort of elite status in terms of equipment and all that. Another one would though have to be the Großdeutschland Panzergrenadier Division, which was much more heavily equipped in fact than some Panzer divisions. Well, there we go, Rifleman quickly run off. Grenadiers advancing in the name of the fatherland.
The enemy is down to
300. Could also be 2 artillery call-ins. He's floating 4 command points, less good. Anti-tank gun in the west. He's a bit worried about an armored rush there. It seems like snipers, which rather means that there's only Volksgrenadiers and a few grenadiers in the east where he's trying to push. But all that, I'm not entirely sure that's a good idea. He might have wanted some MGs, to protect against the Allied counterattack or a sniper. But in this case, he's now moved them over there. Now, of course, PlzWhizz is moving up his own sniper, and there's no one to snipe. As of yet, at least. Pioneers taking up position. The house next close, trying to burn down some fire on the Yankees. One squad already a bit too far ahead. Again, up too close to the Volksgrenadiers, and again, BAR fire and other things, doing a bit of nasty that. Grenade, killing 1. Rifleman running away. Pioneers charging in and then charging away. Sniper not firing again. He's hoping to lure out the German snipers, but they're not there. Again, for some reason, Airisback has placed them over here. And of course, he's not going to be moving over there because, again, he doesn't know there's a sniper. So, again, he feels no need to do it. He just wants to protect his, western flank.
You're losing a munitions sector.
Grenadiers moving in. We are finally seeing a bit of veterancy for the German infantry as well. And that's definitely going to help. These proud German troops. Advancing in now with the Panzerschreck. He's a bit worried about Allied armor capabilities already. Despite the fact that, again, PlzWhizz has nothing like that. He's getting snipers. Possibly a supplied upgrade, yes indeed, to help with the manpower. These Grenadiers, though, definitely need to get out there. All grenades getting lobbed. Oh, the rifle active retreat.
Our front lines.
And again, the sniper has yet to fire a single goddamn shot. In the meanwhile, rifle are trying to advance up here, getting shot down.
Initiating defensive operation.
And the German snipers sort of patrol around. And there we go. PlzWhizz finally reveals a sniper, and since the last fellow is scurrying back home to the fatherland, while a new force moves up. Mine there, that is good. Mine here. Ooh, and mine there would have been great. But nice to see our American friend actually using mines. This would also be a good spot for mining. And veterancy 2 is up for the German infantry. Doesn't help the Volksgrenadiers so much. They gain a slight damage reduction bonus, but mostly it's just, line of sight. And suppression resistance. More mines good, but a bit too late. Otherwise, it's Grenadiers, stormtroopers and such that really benefit from veterancy 2. Volksgrenadiers keep advancing. Grenade goes off, but misses really the Volksgrenadiers, although a bit of fire being directed against them. Volksgrenadiers actually suffering losses to the engineers inside the house, but we are seeing Pioneers trying to burn them out. And a sniper. Oh, sniper gets the Pioneers. Bit of a nasty loss, but there we go. 2 German snipers are arriving. Might be hoping for the American sniper to make a mistake and then get him. And there we go. Yank sniper down. Although looks like some minor progress being made here. Although again, MG42 quickly suppresses.
Artillery support is now available.
And the German snipers want more escape. Still, we are seeing him being pushed back, and we are seeing a German bite out as well. Although we are seeing no additional snipers, we are instead seeing a motor pool going up for PlzWhizz. And an armored car arriving. Ooh, engineers running straight into the MG42, of course, with veterancy 1. Gains increased accuracy and decreased reload times, which overall makes it a much more nasty thing. And there we go. But veterancy 2 actually gives them a suppression bonus and actually makes them a bit harder to hit. And artillery going in on the heavy machine gun, forcing a retreat, opening up this spot as well as soon as the barrage ends. And he's securing the victory point, and what is he gathering up for? Clearly not a medic station though. Again, would be nice. And he's actually lost one of the munitions points. He doesn't quite get as much as he previously used to. Still, he is getting quite a bit. And there we go, Greyhound ready, and already both upgrades on the way. More German forces advance towards the east. The Panzerlehr keeps fighting.
Germans are seizing territory.
And there we go, Greyhound upgraded with armored skirts moves in. Oh, that's a bit careful with all those Volksgrenadiers and Grenadiers with Panzerix and Panzerfaust. In fact, it moves right up to them. Careful, Vorsicht. And there we go, numerous rockets hammer into the side of the Greyhound. We are seeing the 50 caliber up. Bike down. MG moving in. Armored car taking heavy damage. And it's not yet killed a single man. MG5 begins raking the Allied attackers, quickly locking down that attack. And we are seeing Riflemen sneak up here in the west, going for that munitions point. Victory point down here has been secured, but we are seeing the German snipers moving up there again. More Riflemen, Veterancy 2 versus Veterancy 2 Grenadiers, and the Grenadiers are definitely suffering under the counterattack. A grim harvest being reaped. Something. And we are seeing what looks like to be additional teching up. Snipers keep on killing, taking their toll. 12 and 10 kills. 13 and 10 kills.
We are losing a
Victory
sector.
points are draining down for the Germans, but resources draining down for the Americans. Again, a medic station would have helped them, I am quite convinced. But at least he's bought supply and upgrades, and at least somewhat is thinking about, you know, the long fight, so he doesn't quite get drained under the manpower upkeep for all of his expensive American units. We are seeing Houch up infantry, and we are seeing terror from Airisback. We are seeing the Panzer Command going up.
Objective seized. I don't know if I can hold it.
Victory point secure again. Push in the west just as the pack is moving up there. Bit unfortunate right there. Poor luck for Airisback. Armour car, of course, you know, not necessarily always taking the same path, you know, running into where it might be expected, instead going for where it's not expected. I mean, the armoured car, you know, being a speedy but lightly armoured vehicle, rather, you know, tends to favour, you know, not direct confrontations, but more, you know, harassment, flank attacks, flank harassment. Such things is where the armoured car excels, not so much as a tank as some people seem to think it's supposed to be used as. Grenadiers and pack are quickly reacting, but that's going to be delayed, and of course in the meanwhile the Greyhound could switch from west to east again if it so felt like it. MG42 quickly stopping some rifle moving up the east, moving up on the west, more rifle and engineers. Rifle getting suppressed by the MG42. In fact, Propaganda War stops the western flank assault.
Yes, Kamerad.
And there we go, artillery could be hitting something, perhaps the MG42. I suspect that is the target. Munitions being secured by the Germans and fuel. Howitzer just keeps missing that MG42. Oh, there we go, killing 2 crew members. That seems to have been it, really. Armor car being pushed back. Heavy damage, main gun destroyed. Rifleman getting sniped. And the Greyhound went up in smoke and fire. 4th Infantry is suffering some damage from the Germans, although I mean Airisback is not necessarily out of the woods yet either. Although with a Panzer IV things are definitely looking much brighter. Volksker's getting run off. But in fact, yes indeed, we are seeing a grenade, pineapple grenade. Oh, doesn't really do much. The Volksgunners were too quick to spread out, which can also happen. Volksgunners are getting cut down a bit. Riflemen down. BAR, Volksgunners providing fire support, and I do believe we are hearing artillery somewhere. Over in the west. Not sure what was lost. Oh, the Grenadiers went down. Probably to the howitzer strike. A bit unfortunate right there for Airisback. And the MG42 arrives in the nick of time, slowing down the Allied assault. Though the flanks are not quite clear yet. Oh, direct hit from the howitzer knocks out the crew. And the tree. Panzer IV rolls in. No veterancy for that yet. Might be an idea. And there's Panzerkampfwagen 4. Comes the Panzerabteilung. And usually each Panzer division would have 2 battalions of armor. One with Panzer IVs and one with Panthers. Although some cases you would actually find them with only Panzer IVs, or in some cases with a mix of Stugs and Panzer IVs. There's a bit of a mix of that. Not all got their Panthers as they're supposed to. Although the Panzerlehr did get it. Again, they were an elite division. They got what they needed. Oh, another BAR secured by the Volksgrenadiers. So that is... Oh, wait, he lost 1 squad of Volksgrenadiers. So actually quite lacking a bit in infantry. 2nd Panzer IV on the way.
That's right. We can now unleash a firestorm on our enemy.
Firestorm now ready. No veterancy for the Panzers though. Wait, there we go. That is good. Good to mine here. Americans are a bit pressed yet, suffering a bit again. They can't really keep up the losses fully. Although the houters, ooh, propaganda watch saved the sniper right there, but still. Medic station definitely would have benefited PlzWhizz, and again a medic bunker could also of course benefit the German player. You know, keeping attrition down. Panther 4 rolls in, opens up on the riflemen. 3 kills already, my goodness.
Veterancy gained.
4 kills. Advancing against the Allies. Ooh, nice kills, nice kills. Small engagement here in the west. Americans forcing away the Pioneers. Still essentially doing his best to hold on to 3 victory points. Panzer 4 coming under fire from the 57mm anti-tank gun.
The enemy is seizing our territory.
But shots are bouncing off the frontal armor. Minesweeper engineers for some reason are need to actually flank. Instead getting gunned down. And we are seeing actually inspired assault. Fascinating, fascinating. But note how much damage he's actually doing to the rifleman with it. Although of course his troops are actually much easier to hit. But still, that actually went quite quickly on those veterancy 2 riflemen. I mean, you have to remember that it essentially applies to all infantry. I don't believe it actually implies to the MG40. I've read somewhere, but I mean, if they capture the BAR, they will also gain those benefits the BAR gains. That means the increased rate of fire, much greatly increased rate of fire, but of course also the damage bonus.
We're losing a sector.
So some funny facts right there. Riflemen suffering from the Panzer IV's fire, and we are seeing the other one being sent up here. Although that has suffered much more greatly, down to half health already. This one's actually now taking fire from the anti-tank gun. 9 kills already, and Ritterkreuz on the way to replace some of the lost infantry. But a bit of quiet. Americans are making good progress again, thanks to that howitzer, I imagine, amongst other things. And they are in fact still holding on to all 3 high munitions they had for most of the fight, which again is quite to their advantage. It allows them to call in a lot more artillery. Sniper moving up. In fact, he's kept both snipers alive so far. And looks like a Pioneer squad was lost. We are seeing the Knight's Cross arriving, Ritterkreuz. MG42 fire, sniper bit caught out. And I do believe we might be seeing artillery barrage right there. And against inspired assault, though he has to be careful. And of course it also increases rate of fire except for the sniper, but he's not firing. Why is he not firing? He's not getting most out of it, in fact. That was a bit of a botched use of inspired assault. He didn't really get much out of it, which I think is a bit of a shame, to be honest. Sniper almost down, and then reveals. Oh! Airisback, why did you do that? Apparently to get that anti-tank gun, but he lost his sniper in the process. Not sure that was worth it. But again, I mean, you know, do be a bit careful when you're using inspired assault. Again, your troops become rather much easier to hit. Of course, they also do a lot more damage. They're more likely to actually kill something, but you know, just keep that as a reminder. You know, just charging in full guns with it is not necessarily going to win you the game. Another Pioneer squad ready. More Ritterkreuzträger.
Ready.
Coming under fire from riflemen. Assault rifle fire being directed against them. And taking right into the rifleman. Although, again, note, nice use of suppressive fire. One of the things that can actually pretty quickly suppress Knight's Cross, even their veterancy. And note, they're already pinned. And a grenade right. Oh, very nasty. Well done by PlzWhizz again. And note, suppressive fire from riflemen with BAR can quickly suppress Knight's Cross holders with veterancy. Machine gun emplacement, trying to protect the anti-tank gun from a direct rush. Good move. Riflemen though getting suppressed by the MG42, although the MG42 is getting sniped by the American sniper. Ritterkreuzträger moving in. Their assault rifles firing into the night. 30 caliber machine gun emplacement opens up. Not quite as fast as suppressing, but still once they have reached veterancy 2. Should not be underestimated though. And already, oh, no, they're down to half health. Less than half health. Taking heavy damage even from the engineers. And down to one. Oh, Knight's Cross Squad loss. For Airisback. Heavy losses for the Panzerlehr right there. And let's return back to PlzWhizz. Volkswagen is getting suppressed. Machine gun emplacement just keeps on shooting them and keeping them suppressed. Artillery flying through the air. Blowing up that strategic point and the ground around it. While the Panzer IV advances, there's nothing to stop it. 12 kills. 2 kills. Less impressive.
105, battery here. People.
Both supplied upgrades. That's good. That's good again. Medic station would also be good though. Looks like he could soon be getting an off-map combat group. Panzer IV rolls in to deal with that machine gun emplacement. Oh, Rifleman trying to go for that, but heavy fire from MG, Sniper and Panzer IV rather suggest that they should go elsewhere. 142 points left though for the Panzerlehr. Jolly nice. MG42 getting sniped. Rifleman moving up. They could be recruiting the anti-tank gun. There we go. They might even, you know, threatened it with sticky bombs, and then, of course, when it was too far away, now, of course, they have the anti-tank gun. Oh, shot bounces off still. That means the anti-tank can't really get too close. But we are seeing a flank by the Knight's Cross, right where the MG emplacement can't actually cover. Excellently done by Airisback. And we are seeing an assault. And yes, Knight's Cross can, with veterancy, always assault. They're the only unit that can actually do that, otherwise you will need Blitzkrieg, but not with Knight's Cross. They have the ability to assault the enemy and force him back no matter the doctrine.
Territory sector being captured.
Volkswagen is moving up in the east. Victory points are draining down for the Axis. Volkswagen is getting sniped, shot, and all other manners of nasty things. Panzer IV's moving up. And the Volkswagen has got run off.
Ready for the crowds.
Another Sniper MG42, Panzer IV's, 21 kills altogether. But if Airisback was actually going to try and charge them in both at the same time, he could actually overcome all of this because there's only one anti-tank gun and there's not a lot else to stop them. So that could actually be a viable tactic. In particular, though, if you just decide to flank up, hit the road and then move up through here. Although there's a small danger of a mine, even just up here. Could do quite nicely, but instead we are just seeing Knight's Cross doing that. In fact, Knight's Cross moving in from both sides. MG's providing support. Knight's Cross going in for the cutoff. We're completely behind. We are seeing artillery, or hearing it in fact. Veterancy free for the rifle. Knight's Cross need to get out of there. Oh dear. Oh, looks like they might make it out of there, but they're actually trying to get that. And there we go. The tanks are moving up. Sticky bombs are being leveled against it. Veterancy free for another rifleman squad. He's got 2 veterancy free squads. Artillery at infinitum getting called in on the Panzers. Anti-tank gun is gone, but he could be losing his Panzers. 23 kills on 1, that would be a shame. And there's a mine very next. Oh dear, he has to be careful. Machine gun emplacement though could be going down, and we are seeing off-map combat groups very soon. .30 caliber gunner fires away in vain. Sadly, he's not going to succeed. And there we go. He fought valiantly, but that is not enough when facing a Panzer. The last Volkswagen squad moves up. Later Kreutz getting reinforced. More artillery. On the MG42, clearing up the west. Apparently he might have misclicked with his propaganda wall. And another Knights Cross Holder squad. That's 3 of them. That's quite a few Knights Cross Holders. Probably more than they were on the Western Front. And again, I wouldn't really consider them actual Knights Cross Holders, just, you know, more veteran elite infantry units, NCOs and the like, formed into special elite squads. But we are seeing the Volkskriegs getting overrun. Panzer IV doing what they can to contain the Allied assault. Panzer IV getting repaired. 23 kills. Off-map combat group. Tank destroyer and 2 riflemen squads and a mortar. Greatly increasing PlzWhizz forces. Anti-tank gun though is in dire need of repairs. I mean, the anti-tank gun itself has health besides an infantry squad, and if the anti-tank gun goes, so goes the entire squad. And usually that is why you'll see actually good players will actually also repair the anti-tank guns to ensure they are kept in good condition. But looks like he has no engineers to which to do so. Wait, there we go. Nice cross charging in against the Veteran C3 Rifleman. They need to get out of there. Oh dear, please, what are you doing? Oh, he lost a Veteran C3 Rifleman squad. That's just terrible. And the Knights Cross are flanking about, clearing out the anti-tank gun. Tank destroys there, but that's probably not going to be enough to stop 2 anti-Panzer IVs. Sticky bombs, lots of sticky bombs on the Panzer IV. Tank destroyer, they're suffering heavily. Rifleman getting sniped. Destroyed engine on the Panzer IV. Tank destroyer though is out of control. Mortar rounds. Oh, we could be seeing artillery though on it.
Enemy unit down.
If you can land it. There we go. Panzerkampfwagen 4 sind kaputt. Brewed up a rather stubborn American efforts.
They're going after one of our munitions points.
More troops are moving in to try and contain this effort. And there we go. Another sticky bomb on the 29 kill Panzer IV. But the engine is still damaged. Volkskriegs getting sniped. Not enough munitions left for any artillery. He's only got the on-map one left now to provide support. And the Volkskriegs are charging, trying to clear out the sniper. That's a good move. Well, of course, yeah, they succeeded. They succeeded. GG. Except he's not leaving. Not sure if he's being a bit rude there, or just, you know, perhaps warning he might not make it and preemptively just going GG. I'm not sure. Some people. Oh, artillery strike right on the Knights Cross. Mortar keeps firing.
We're losing a strategic sector.
Mortar rounds, artillery, riflemen, all sorts of nasty things. And there we go, Veteran C3 Riflemen. Very, very nasty towards those Americans. Well, for the Germans actually, not the Americans. Just me slightly getting distracted. There we go, another Knights Cross squad on its own, but we are seeing 2 rifle squads moving in. Not enough munitions for suppressive fire, although we are seeing a grenade. Doesn't quite be enough.
The enemy is down to 100 points.
Will he try for another off-map combat group? Looks like it, looks like it. Will there be a artillery sticky bomb on the Panzer IV though? Riflemen, not sure they will get out of there. Damage engine, and oh, they actually made it. Bloody hell. Riflemen, meanwhile, getting suppressed out here on the west by the Western victory point. Again, trying to drain the Panzer layer of its victory point. Knights Cross could be going down on the retreat. But so could the Rifleman. Oh, he might be losing another Veteran C3 squad. Oh, very lucky. Again, very lucky.
We're losing ground out there.
And another howitzer barrage. Probably going against these Knights Cross. This victory point. There we go. 3 victory points all in the hands of the Americans. Pioneer Squad went down trying to repair the Panzer IV. Nice hit by the mortar. Volkskriegs still moving in. Mortar Squad needs to get out of there.
Losing ground out there.
Riflemen taking heavy nasty losses from 2 MG42s. Absolutely pinned and getting murdered. PlzWhizz needs to retreat those riflemen.
Observation posts report we are losing a sector.
And looks like he's not going to be bothering with another off-map combat group. We are seeing an anti-tank gun being prepared. Hiccups.
Taking hit.
Grenade against the Volkswagen. Oh! Damn! That was an entire Volkswagen squad. The last one left, in fact, went down to 1 grenade. And again, that is one of the reasons the Wehrmacht actually has veterans in their sport. Because again, they can, in the blink of an eye, lose a squad like that. It's much more difficult for the Americans to actually have that happen to them due to the larger squads. So that's a fun little fact right there. Pioneers Pioneers went down. But we know why they sacrificed themselves. They've called in a V1 rocket, and I'm pretty sure we all know where. Right on that howitzer, just as it's about to fire. There we go. Clearing out the trias, the howitzer, and 2 machine gun emplacements. Knights Cross charging in. Anti-tank are going to get overwhelmed. Going to open up for the Panzer Force. Knights Cross. Oh, heavy losses for some of them. Grenades. Oh, Knights Cross squad down in seconds. Again, there's a reason the veterans see spot, but 40 kills for the Panzer IV. Fucking hell. That thing is definitely a Panzer Ace. And it's going to get its own Tiger tank after this, if it survives the war. The fight, I mean.
We have a threat to our victory point. Ready. We got a full combat load.
More veterancy free riflemen. I mean, he might be losing them, but he's also gaining them. I mean, again, that's also the thing to remember with supplied upgrades. The more you have it, the faster your rifleman veterancy up. So even if he lost 2, he's gained more.
Enemy unit down.
I mean, that's also something, you know, some people might want to keep forgetting or whatever. Again, riflemen with a lot of supplied upgrades gain veterancy a lot faster.
Ready to move. Pay attention.
Propaganda war stops them right there. Victory points rather low for the Germans for the Panzerlehrers. In fact, it's time to have a look at Airisback again. Back to Airisback, in fact. Not all units left. We are seeing an anti-tank gun, an MG42, and 3 Knights Cross holders. He seems rather keen on them. Again, a medic bunker could also benefit him, just like a medic station could have benefited PlzWhizz. Veterancy free sticky bomb, damaging the engine and almost down to half health already. But they will be executed by the Knights Cross. Bit of a waste of good veterancy free squad, to be honest. And there we go, the Königstiger has arrived. The Tiger II. Definitely going to tip the scales in the favour of the Panzerlehr, I suspect. Which did actually have one of them attached to it, but that was again partly due to its company of radio control tanks, or Funkline-Kompanie. Basically meant there to control actually stuff like Goliaths, or the bigger version of it, the Borgward 4B. And so it actually had a company of Tigers, and with 1 King Tiger attached to it. But yeah, they actually used Tigers and Darts to actually radio control those things. So that's a slightly fun fact. And also means it can sometimes actually be a bit difficult to actually note if there were actually any Tigers in an area, because again, they might have been a radio control company, but then they could just have been Stooks. But the Knights Cross, actually suffering a bit out in the open due to all of these riflemen, including the veterancy free. Let's go, and the Knights Cross are getting run off. Veterancy free might be an idea for them, gives them a health bonus as well. But this point is being held somewhat by quite the armoured force. Panzer IV, King Tiger, and a Knights Cross holder squad. Elite Panzer Grenadiers of the Panzerlehr.
Target or position.
Going to move into deal with those riflemen and the anti-tank gun, allowing the armour to advance further, I suppose. Rifleman forced with the propaganda war. Oh, suppressive fire from the riflemen. Definitely going to stop those Knights Cross in their feet, and there we go, pinned. So again, the trick to stopping Knights Cross, if you have riflemen with VARs, suppressive fire. It will stop them pretty quickly, and there we go, riflemen suppress themselves by an MG42. King Tiger pushed back a bit. But the American commander is definitely under a bit of pressure, not a lot left. More Knights Cross moving in. Definitely looking a bit desperate from the side, but definitely Airisback does hold the advantage with the King Tiger and the Panzer IV. Had PlzWhizz perhaps, early on, had perhaps, some medic stations to help with casualties, things might have looked a bit different, but again, the same could be said about Airisback. Had he had a medic bunker again, things might have looked a bit different. Nice push. Veterans of 3 rifle moving up on one flank. Doing heavy damage to the Knights Cross. Knights Cross pulling back together in a small cratered area. MG42 priming to cover. This is a large push grenade. Oh, moving them. Oh, Knights Cross moved great straight into the grenade. And then we got the Veterans of 3 rifle are flanking that. They're going to the MG42. They could even be cutting it down on the retreat. And the thing to remember about Veterans of 3 units, that is riflemen. Now, in fact, just briefly pause. They gain a 50% damage bonus when riflemen reach Veterans of 3. I believe it also applies to Rangers, possibly also even airborne, but still 50% damage bonus. Plus, of course, all those accuracy bonus they gain as they go up to Veterans of 3 make these bastards really, really lethal. Panzer IV moves in. A grenade here could do quite well, but the riflemen are taking heavy loss. Oh, he keeps losing them. That's not good. His unit president seems to be alright, and then he gets into Veterans of 3, and then for some reason he can't keep them alive at all. In fact, he's lost quite a bit. He's barely got any riflemen left at all. Oh dear. Bit of a shame right there. He even lost his mortar. Could be, in fact, again, he suffered from that thing, where you get a bit too aggressive, a bit too reckless. When, again, your opponent is close to, having no victory points left, and you still have plenty, you sort of go, right, I'll just go nuts and just charge in instead of, trying to think out a more sane approach. Oh my goodness, 5 Knights Cross. Airisback is definitely not taking any chances. Certainly no point in training full gunners when you can train Knights Cross. Any access to Grenadiers in the Kriegbags, I might say otherwise, but until then, not really. Grenade! Ooh, kills anti-tank gunners instead. Sends the Knights Cross the running as more. Well, the rest actually even move in. There's again not a lot left for PlzWhizz. He suffered too heavily, and again a lack of medic station does not help him. Another tank destroyer and 2 riflemen squads and an MG. Rifle advancing, are coming under fire from the King Tiger. Oh, nasty hit down to 1 man, and a BAR left behind. It is murder scene, and they're going to tank gun recruit. Tank destroyer moving in, rifle moving in, going to sticky bomb it. BAR secured. Little Cots still are there with 16 kills, and the Panzer IV with 48 kills. My goodness.
The enemy advances.
2 men down. Oh, nice hit from the King Tiger. Artillery on map. Actually. Anti-tank gun recruit. Knights Cross suffering a bit. 30 caliber going up. And a unit has died. Looks like some Knights Cross are also dying, in fact, for Airisback. And a V1 rocket! Oh my goodness! Clearing out the anti-tank gun. King Tiger immobilized. Knights Cross. Oh, down again. He's taking heavy losses himself. Must be the long game which is rather causing both players to get a bit sloppy. Tank destroyer down. Veterans of 3 for the infantry. Not that he actually has a lot of infantry now to benefit from it. Oh well. King Tiger been on his own, but now the Veterans of 3 Knights Cross. Things might look a bit more up. Damaged, and again though the King Tiger can't really move anyways. 49 kills, will he get 50? Yes indeed, 50 kills! That's half 100 murdered by that Panzer IV alone. This rather looks like game over for the Americans. The losses they have sustained are too severe.
And even this is dropping.
GG. GG. What the fuck? Yeah, I think both are sort of, guilty of, having a lot of infantry. But again, that's rather, the point of World War II, a lot of it was infantry, so there you go. You actually need a good size of it, so either way that's unavoidable, and, well, again, it rather didn't help a lot of them just having a lot of infantry. Notice, he lost a lot of Knights Cross, and his opponent lost a lot of riflemen. In the end, it was, slightly unit preservation, but also the fact that the American commander just wasn't quite prepared for the long fight, no medic station, and he wasn't quite prepared for armor. Had he had, a few more anti-tank guns, perhaps, things would have looked a bit different, but in the end, he didn't have enough, and the Panzers were able to slowly grind it down, plus, of course, the snipers which were left to roam for far too long. It was rather those sort of things, and again, early on, I think the Americans could also have benefited more from mines, which never really came about. And again, rather benefited Airisback in the long run. So, there you go, but do hope you enjoyed this game. If you did, why not subscribe and tell your friends, and if you didn't, well, why not send in a replay of your own? This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.